There are certain fighters who give it their all in their fights, but their crazy fighting styles has led them to take way too much damage in their fights. So here is 5 fighters who take the most damage in the UFC. Number 5. Eddie Alvarez is the former UFC lightweight champion who always gives it his best shot whenever he fights. He is willing to take punishment in order to put his game plan into action. This style of fighting style has got him into trouble many times. In his first title defense against Conor McGregor at UFC 205, we saw him recklessly push forward, where he took many heavy shots from Conor McGregor, which resulted in him losing his title. In his return fight against Dustin Poirier at UFC 211, we saw him do the same thing, where he was just wildly pushing forward, where he was clipped with a heavy punch, which had him in trouble. He has taken a lot of damage in his UFC fights, where he seems to come back stronger after a crazy war. Number 4. Maurice Greene is the former UFC light heavyweight champion who has taken part in many wars in the UFC, which has had a massive impact in his mixed martial arts career. Whenever he fights, he is always looking for the finish and doesn't hesitate engaging in a brawl with his opponent. This style of fighting has resulted him in having many concussions over the years, which has deteriorated his ability to take a punch. In his fights, he pushes forward with full force and ends up taking massive amounts of damage. He is currently on a 3-fight winning streak, where hopefully he is able to continue winning his fights. Number 3. Joe Lauzon is a UFC lightweight veteran who has won many fight night bonuses for getting into crazy brawls with his opponents. He possesses a great set of skills where he pushes his body to the max in his fights in order to get the fight bonus. This means he is willing to bleed and take tremendous amounts of damage to entertain the fans. He always starts his fights very hard and fast, trying to overwhelm his opponents. He either dominates them or gets severely beat up himself. He has had many ups and downs in his UFC career, where the fans have always appreciated him giving his all in his fights. Number 2. Patrick Cummins is a UFC light heavyweight fighter who always seems to get bloodied up easily in his fights, where he always finds a way to win. In his fights, he seems to be an easy target to hit, as he mainly relies on his great wrestling skills to take the fight to the ground. He is often quite slow inside the octagon, where he patiently waits for the right opportunity to engage. This strategy makes him into a sitting target, where he ends up getting hit with heavy bombs, which results in getting a bust up face. He always gives it his best shot in his fights, where he is willing to get busted up to get the victory. Number 1. Diego Sanchez has fought in many weight classes in his UFC career, where he has only one objective in his mind, which is to get into a wild brawl with his opponent. This crazy approach to his fights has gotten him into trouble many times, where he has either been brutally finished or ended up taking severe amounts of damage. He always ends up looking like a zombie in his fights, with cuts and bruises everywhere. He basically puts his health and body on the line whenever he competes, and always promises a great show for the fans. There has never been a boring fight whenever Diego Sanchez competes, where he always delivers to the best of his ability.